There it is. Okay. So we got the page Kuf.
That's correct. Yeah.
And actually number Mem was on the previous page, but we'll read it here in the black and see what we got. There's something in the pasuk which says V'ha'aretz hoisa tohu ovo. What's tohu ovo? So this is the secret of tohu ovo. I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, that's you. There's a lot of noise in the background. I thought it was you. V'ha'aretz hoisa tohu ovo. Asher hu medaber be'inyan misas hamalachim shachal nikudas k'nis k'la'el. So the sod of that is that it's talking about the death of the Malachim that we talked about before. I had to make a couple of moves here with my camera. Just a second. Okay, there we are. So he says, "V'nir mazbo shnei pamim milas tohu," because tohu is said twice. Echem before the pasuk. V'albei, so the first one you see the word in the pasuk, but the second one is in the Rosh Tevos, the Mafrei. If you count the Rosh Tevos backwards, which was a Haaretz Hoisa Tohu, then you have Tov, He, and Vav, that's Tohu. V'hu Keneged Shtei Bechinas and Iskara, so this talks about the two things that we talked about, which are what? Ki Tohu Ayasher Meforish Bekasu, Hu Bechinas HaSheva Malach Shemesu V'nizbat Lo Hafilu Hapanim Shalachem. So that normally the most endangered part, let's say, so to speak, in regard to the Chitzonian would be the Chitzonians. But over here, also the Panemius fell, or the Ponim, what he calls the Ponim of the Nikud. But Tohu Shibarosha Tevos the Mafrei, read them backwards. So this is something we haven't discussed yet, not too much anyway, is the nullification of the backside of Abba Ve'ima. He called Bechinas the Mafreya, who Bechinas Acharayim. So there's a general rule that will be worked in Kabbalah and other places, is the concept of the Acharayim, the concept of the Revuah. I think we mentioned Revuah before, where you count back, you beat backwards, like Nach, Nachma, Nachman, Neuman, that one, Nachman, that's it. The pasuk, actually, if you add that up, it comes out to be, I think, 354, which is the gematria of the moon. So
what? The gematria of what?
The gematria of the 354 days of the lunar cycle. I said it was short. The pasuk, I don't know the connection. The pasuk ha'aretz choseh tohu avo nizkar tevis tohu shtei pamim echad ha'aretz choseh tohu, and the second was a Rosh Tevos ha'aretz choseh tohu avo. There's a tosa there. You say k'sha'ata chakor l'mafeya, and we read it backwards. V'haremez b'zecha b'chu k'shenizkar tohu b'torah, who nikra the head yet specific, v'zachein hu meramez al tohu b'torah. So this is meramez gives me bechinas upon him. So this also tells you pshat in the concept of the ponim. The ponim is straight. V'hu meramez al zun. So this will tell you about zohar v'nok. Shazun nishbru bechinas upon him, because with zun, both the ponim and the ach broke. V'hu meramez al zun, shazun nishbru bechinas upon him, shalachem v'kol shechein bechinas ach. If the ponim fell, for certainly the ach goes first. Ki tohu mora al shvira, because the concept there of the tohu, when the Torah says that phrase, which is an ununderstandable phrase in Pashtus, it just means some kind of empty place, but here he tells you that it's a concept of breaking front and back. So the Mafreya once again is called the Revuah. He said Tevis the Mafreya Zehu Remez al Bechinas Ach. He called Davar Shenikra B'Hasof L'Haschila, so anything that goes from backwards to the front, Mora al Bechinas Acharayim. So who Romans al Abba Ve'ima, so what is it reference to? It's reference to Chochman Bina. Hoysel Rak Nefilas Acharayim, where they actually felt it had to fall also because of their relationship with the Zat, with the seven that fell. That they're inside of them. And since that happened, then their Acharayim fell too. Now this is to tell you an understanding of how it is that what we call the Panemius, the Panemius, which is the essence of the light, transfers itself to an area which is, let's say, we're making up the word area, to a place which is outside of it. To do that, you go from the front, which is we're saying now the panim, and it goes around to the back where whatever that is we're talking about, the shefa that's coming down, is going to be elamafreya. It's going to be backwards. So on the front it goes straight, on the back it goes in revuah. Akbechinas aponim shalahem. So he says nisha ara b'shleimus, but Abba ve'ima chokman bina, even though that they had their acharayim was inside of the zat, that fell along with the zat. We'll learn more about that later. But the front part was not connected directly to the zat, and so therefore didn't fall. B'shar Nikudim is boyer sheyesh beis bechinas shehem arba. There's two things we have to know, and actually they spread into four. Hanukah sheyesh bechinas oros v'kelim. So the two are the oros and the kelim. V'hem nechlochim kol bechina d'shnayim. So each one that is will be divided into two. Let's take the oros, he says. Ba'oros yesh or panimi v'or makif. So you have these two different kinds of light. V'kelim yesh panimius akli v'chitzonius akli. Now a lot of times it's really easy to get mixed up in the use of these words because both of them have the concept upon him in some way or panimius. But they're not exactly the same. The light now that's coming out of the eyes, shav, it draws, kol hadala bechinos, gam ba'or ha'ozin, v'gam ba'or ha'chote, v'gam ba'or ha'peh. So all these two, which are four, it draws the concept of drawing energy from them is that's what it is. V'aklahu kamosha kasav Rab. The ales, like Rab said before, shekala oros shekib Nikudim, all lights that were received by the Nikudim that come from ACHAP, lo kiblo ela b'shivolas zakan olamata b'men. Now this is a little point that he's going to make here over and over again. And even though that the light, I think he said it before, that the light is up above, let's say like it's in the nose, or the light's coming out of the ears, but where they actually receive it is the shvolas zakan. That there are different differentiations. So as the lights look, the eyes peer or look in Naim, Shah b'makum gavoa Yosef, they draw their light from a higher place. Yosef mishavulas zakan, higher than the shavulas zakan. V'hored as a or ad shavulas zakan, and then they're able to bring the light down to that place, which seems to be, what would you say, the dock? This is the place where the shefa docks, and therefore it's drawn from that place. So he ad shavulas v'sham kibla b'kelim the Nikudim esa or shadachem. So that's where they receive their lights. V'ata yavar divrei of Rav the Boyer called pratech habechinas. Now he wants to explain all the different aspects over here. Mein shavo es orosechem or es ACHAP. From where exactly did they draw that light? That is the light that we see from the ACHAP. So number Mem Aleph says v'hine bevadai.
So meaning, can I just clarify something?
Yeah, sure.
So he means that because the inayim begin above the ACHAP, so therefore they kind of take the ACHAP, the Eris of ACHAP with them down to Shibel Zakan.
So he's using, the word take, he says it's not, they draw from that, but he says that they look at it, or it has something to do with his stockles. And so your question is, it started out up above, well, let's say at the same level as the ACHAP, or higher than the ACHAP. So it comes down, and it comes down for the ACHAP, and it draws light from the ACHAP. But he says the place that it draws from, actually, I use the word dock, I don't know, where it plugs in, is at the Shavolas Zakan. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yes, I'm just trying to figure out the relationship between the Eris Einayim and the Eris of ACHAP.
Okay. That's what it is. So the ACHAP is a higher level of light. It's the highest level of light, right? So then, let's go on and let's see the more. But nonetheless, a light that's coming out of the eyes is passing by it. So how does it work? But he wants to say that it doesn't draw the light from the ozon, be too strong. Instead, it draws the light down below at the Shavolas Zakan. Okay, Behine bevadai hu gam v'nekudos. Yesh bechinas or makif or panimi. So let's just look at this idea. He says in the Nikudim you have two different types of oros. There's a makif and there's an or panimi. Ve'in yonim hu, what's pshat? Ki hinechan isbar ki mishlosha oros ha'ozin chotim peh. Okay, so we have those three lights. Shoev mechem histaklus ha'ayin l'tzorach ha'nekudim. So again, this concept of staklus, that the eyes are able to gaze at the ACHAP, and they're able to draw from that ACHAP l'tzorach ha'nekudim. V'zecha b'bechinas ora shlishi. So this is the concept of third light. K'nizker le'el shebe'arno shuhu l'tzorach kelim el nekudim. And there's another. So let's see how this works out. There's three different types of light. What are they? That's very interesting. He makes it sound like the energy that's inside of the eye, or it has some movement to it. And as a result of that, we're just qualifying it and saying that it has ability to be mistakel. So that's the nature of that eye, those eyes. So I'm a little, short in understanding what exactly how histaklus works, but I'm interested in looking at it, trying to understand what he means by histaklus. So it's v'or shalishi hu b'bechinas histaklus shel onayim da'ak, shehois sho'eves kelim ma'achap, was able to draw the kelim down from the achap, the tzorach oros and nekudim, for the purpose of having a place to lodge the lights of the nekudim. The shav called prati habechinas sheyesh b'kol or ma'achap, so it's able to draw from all of the bechinos that you see in all of the light of the achap. Or kolu b'shtei bechinos. So let's talk about its drawing light. So we have three different lights. So we have the light of the light of what we call the light of the panemius, and we have the light of the makif, of the panemi. That's it, makif and panemi. Let me get my words right. We have to call or, and also this other light, which is the light of histaklus. Shehem or panemi or makif. Became called kli kolu b'shtei bechinos. So now going back to the kli again, we're making kalim by as a result of this third light being able to look at the achah. Shehem panemius akli b'hitzonis akli. Now, as we go on, we're going to explain this. How it is that the eye, as it peers at these ayin, looks at those lights. 1 second here. He says also, so called bechina or bechina ma'arba bechinas, and Iskaras is able to make every single one of those four different qualities, which are the oros and the kalim. Each one of them has two qualities. And then we're going to go on. Let's read some more. So now we're on number Membet. Or zet nechloch l'shnayim. This light is divided into two. So now we're saying another idea. We're saying that over here, and I'm not sure whether we saw this in the Nikudim. I don't think so. There's a right side and there's a left side.
We saw this.
That was when we were in the second paragraph, parak, where we were talking about the how the four.
The kind of the right side of the Zachet compared to one thing in the Bechinas Kalim, and the other is the kind of the left side of a different thing. I think it was like each of them has two parts of the four.
Okay, that's what we're saying here. Masha lokech mitzad yamim heim oros mamish. Masha lokech mitzad small heim kalim. The Gavarn is boyer la'el. It's already been sent to Shar Rakudim, and that's where it is in Perak Aleph. Ki ba'or yesh bechinas panimi umaki. The v'kli yesh bechinas panimi v'chitzah. V'nimsa ki kol elu arba bechinas lokech histaklus lokech histaklus ha'ayin mishlosha oros ha'ozen chotim peh. Let's get his grammar right. He says ubekol ubekli yesh bechinas panimi v'chitzah. Here v'nimsa ki Kol elu arba bechinos. Lokech histaklus. The histaklus takes from them. Histaklus ayin, the looking of the eyes, takes from them. Mishlosha oras ha'ozen chotim peh, from those three. V'tzorach l'das shehistaklos ayin sho'eves kelim ACHAP, that they draw kelim from the ACHAP. L'tzorach ha'oros the Nikudim, l'tzorach ha'kelim the Nikudim. V'ofen she'haholokim asher histaklos ha'ayin lokachas mitzad yamim, hein nechshavim ka'oros mamish. So they're going to be the oros. Hein or benibi or maki. Ve'elu ha'halach asher histaklos ayin lokachas mitzad small. Hein nechshavim ka'kelim, hein benimius a kli, ve'hem kitzonis a kli. And from these aspects are the Kalim and the Nikudim are made. Number Nun Mem Gimel. V'zev Sidron. Ki hine masha histakel ha'ayin. So again, this concept of capturing something with the eyes is a big concept.
The gaze of the eyes.
Huh? With what?
With
The gaze of the eyes. Yeah, that the eyes have that. So I don't know if there's something deeper here or not. I don't know. So when he's going down and he's looking at the light of the ozen, say for example, but where you actually get it is at the shavulas zakan atzma b'tzad yamin, on the right side of the shavulas zakan. Hu b'bechinas or maki. V'mashuhu gam came b'tzad yamim elishuhu rokok v'hu min etzadadim. So it's not. I don't know what he means by that. It's more distance. It's from the side. It's an angled view. Hu or panimi shuhu moed, which is a lesser light. So there's light there. They're or panimi. V'chein al derek zeh b'tzad small. So let's look at the left side. Mashuhu keneged istaklos ayin mamish. So what's opposite? Actually, this. It's an interesting idea because the staklos of the eye actually has depth to it. Even though, or whatever you say, but that's the same thing with us. So we look and we see things, we acquire ideas. I don't know, but looking at them, I don't know. The ha'ayin mamish, hu chitzonis akli, is the opposite of the kli. V'mashu the tzadadim, he has this word tzadadim. See if we get a better definition of that. Hu peninimis akli. So we understand the kitzonis of the kli, we learned back from the first parak in Shar, what is that, Shar Tata. About the Akudim. But he says, this boyer laelki oris ha'ozen me'irim ad shavulas zakan. So we said that they shine all the way down to the beard, to the chin. Umisham shoev kli ha'kesed in Nikudim es or ha'ozen. Let's read it again one more time. He says that the me'irim ad shavulas zakan, and at the shavulas zakan, the lights that is there is where the kli ha'keser draws light es or ha'ozen. It takes the light of the ozen, which is there at the shavulas zakan. V'hinka kol shebachakinu notlos as oron korov yoser el makom ha'kiluach. So whatever is able to be drawn from the place where it actually starts to present itself, Kena or Yoser Godel, so the liar is going to be much greater. So it's looking straight at the light on the right, but Malcolm Mekiluach Mamish, in the place where it actually manifests itself. Lokech b'sham bechinas or makif, it takes that in that place, that's a straight on light. To tell you something about the nature of the makif, is that the nature of the makif is that it draws from there shuhu or gavoha ma'od. It's a tremendously powerful light. Later on we'll see some other things about this or makif. But it doesn't see it directly. It looks at it from the side. From the place where it's actually foaming out. Lokeach or panimi, it takes this or panimi, it's a lesser light. Shuhu or moed bavad, it's a lesser light. V'chein hu al zera derek b'tzad small, so this you see the same way on the left side. Sh'asher ha'ma'ayim estako b'yosher al makom mikiluach, when it's looking straight on the place where it's coming out, where it's manifest. Lokechas mesham b'chinas kitzonis akli. Why? Because since the kitzonis of the kli is going to be opposite the makif, we learned this back. This was in Shartanta, I believe. he shemesham bechinas kitzonis akli, shehi bechinas gevocha bepinimis akli, commotion is boil el, or maybe it is from Sharakudim. I don't know. I don't remember really.
Right now, I remember this.
Yeah. Okay, so we did see that the chitzonis of the kli has to be tough because it's going to be in a position opposite that or makif and vice versa. Kasher ha'ayin mistakel b'tzad small tzadin, when he's looking at it on an angle, doesn't see it completely. Makom b'makom kiluach, that is on an angle from the place of the kiluach. Lokech b'sham b'china penimis akli. So for there, it's going to take from the inside, for the inside of the kli, of a b'poa kiblu kli ha-nikudim b'shvolas zakan. All the kalim from the nikudim always take from the shvolas zakan. So there's a tabla in the back. If you want to take a look at that another time, you could do that. So let's see what's next. So that's the light of the ozon. So we have a good idea about that. And what kind of a kli it makes? It makes a kli for keser. What about the light that comes from the nose? So that what he gets from the ozon, we understand that the light of the ozon is up above the mouth. Hu or makif, that's going to be the makif. But from the pen down below, hu or penimi. Small, the same thing. You're going to have the same thing work there. So here we'll listen to the explanation. He said, excuse me. He lokachas gam oras mechachote, but at the same time there's light in the same place that comes from the light of the choten. And what happens there? They're going to take light there for the chochmah nikudim. Previously we had straight on and from the side. So here we have something else. So it's like what we explained. Shetzad yamim huba b'chinas oros. Shetzad small is going to be the beginning of the cave. But the difference is this. If it's drawing light from the place of the nose, the pab, and that place between the nose to the mouth, so he wants to say in the parentheses, that we're saying they're not drawing from the place there. They're only drawing from the shvolas zakan. But what they're drawing for the shvolas zakan is going to be this light, that light that's between the nose and the mouth. O shav min or hachotim hamispashet the which is below the mouth. They're taking that. Shahazhu pachos ma'ula, because that's less quality. It's further away from the source. Behind the sha'orish shabetzad yamin the chotim, so that the lights that are on the right side of the nose, adapeh, now understand that they're only collected at the place at the shvolas zakan. He's adapeh who or maki. Ubapol, he wants to say keep the chabes or b'shvolas zakan. So if you look at the mouth, you start going downwards, you still haven't gotten to the chin yet. Hu b'chinas or penimi. That's going to be the lesser light. If it's small, the chotems on the left side of the nose, that is the light that was originally from the left side of the nose to the mouth. Hu b'chitzonis akli. Min ha'peh b'lamata hu penimis akli. This would be the penimis akli. So therefore, what's it taking from the mouth is divided into two. From that particular area. Mitzad Yamim was going to be the or makif. Who or penimi. So if it gets to the beard, then it goes down, it's going to be the or penimi. Small, we have the same thing on the left side. So he says, V'chein, one second. V'chein al derek zeh, al zeh ha-derek, Ha'inayim lokecha, the lights, the vision, the look of the glance of the eyes is able to take arba bechinas al yedei histaklus ba'oras hapeh. B'ofen sheha'or shebetzad yamim hapeh ad shavulas zakan hu bechinas or makif ubepol kiblo es or b'shavulas zakan. Remember that again. Ub'shavulas zakan v'lamata, which is which has been the or panimi, which is a lesser light. V'chein b'tzad small depeh shekeshoev es or min or hamispashit bin depeh ad shavulas zakan heim kitzoni sakli v'po kiblo es or b'shavulas zakan, like he said before. V'elim b'shavulas zakan v'lamata heim panimius kli. So now we have a diagram and an idea of where the light comes from and how it's drawn.
Yeah. So I think that just to sum it up, it sounds like he's saying that as the eyes move through the iris of ACHAP, they take with them all the bechinas of each of the three eyes and the right and left side of each one, which is going to be the iris on the right and the kalim on the left of each of those madrigas, or like levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number Aleph. V'hine kasher nispashtu eloch hanikudim mebechutz mekeneged the tibor shal adam kadmon ad sium raglav keniska the el. Now let's go back to our basic idea. So we have this primordial man, and the location where we're going to see the akudim are from they stretch down to the tibor of Ak. That's a light level that's hard to fathom. Below the tibor, it's more physical, and there we're going to find the Nikudim. Hoya Bokeya, Osacha Ba'or Shabo Mechadash, Derek HaParsa Ben Kanitzka La'el. So now below we're still looking inside of or at at Adam Kadmon. Umeir L'chutz El Nikudim. So there's going to be light down below, and he mentioned that it comes as a result of a new light. Nimsaki Or HaChadash Azeh, so this new light, who over Tehillah V'Yored Derek HaParsa, so there was, remember that we talked about, there's a diaphragm there, which is designed to hold the light up above, to create a sign of a pressure cooker. But there is light that breaks through as a result of this new idea, which is the idea of Or Chadash. So he said, V'Yored Derek HaParsa L'mata Chabechetzi HaTachton Minati L'mata. So then this new light is going to break through the diaphragm, and it's going to wind up in the nigh area. Now it's down there. It breaks out of the walls of the body itself. And now it's going to come out and it's going to shine into the Nikudim. So Olam HaNikudim Shemakolim in the Tiba the Akalamata Nivdacha B'Shlosh Bechinas. So it's built out of three different aspects. It's light that was below the tibor. B'benimius nai the ak. We call it the nai is more or less the legs, but he really means the nai also as a way to say like the from the tibor lamata, and it would include the lower third of Tiferes. The ak v'ala lamala meratibor, and it went up. So a certain portion of this, and in Rabbi Yaakov Hillel's Sefer Shasha Hayam, he really goes into more detail on exactly how much of the light that came up actually came out. What part came out? My thinking is, and I haven't looked at it lately, is that the malchus of the light comes out. So we see not the kesser of the light. So in other words, to say like the light that's down below the tibor comes up, and we could count it as 10 spheros. So it's not the kesser down to Yesod that comes out through the eyes, but instead it's the malchus part. Why the malchus part? So it's just a lesser of the lights. It's a lesser of the lights. So he said, so some portion of it, like I said, I don't remember it 100%. I could have been wrong a little bit about that, but I think I remember that. Av and Sag. Now this is called the Av Sag Da'ak. Of course, we're dealing with the Av Sag Da'ak. That's what we're talking about. What happens is, as a result of any time, and we'll see this many, many times, and that's why learning Kabbalah is so important to prayer, why it is the concept of taking the needs of the lower part and bringing it upwards. When that happens, and that's what happens, what's happening here. Maybe this is the first time we see it. Shazecha or Yored, no, it's not the first time. We saw it in the Nikudim too. V'shazecha or Yored Bokach as a parsa penimius gufa da'ak. So the light, a new light, is created by this yichud of the Av Sag Da'ak. V'yatzecha medofnech guf min ativa lamata, and it winds up breaking out through the walls of the body of Adam Kadmon. V'habachina shlish, then there's a third one. He is staklus hanayim ba'oras ACHAP. So we have the original movement, which is called Mayim Nukvin, from the bottom to the top. And then we had that caused a yichud within the Av Sag Da'ak, the very highest level, which brings down all of the bracha and all the shefa that we want in the world. So al yedei zecha v'na'asa asara kelim de Nikudim. So this whole process, now that we have the lights drawing, the eyes drawing light from these two others, so this is going to make the Nikudim. So the third light, that is the light of the Istaklos. The Istaklos makes the Kalim of the Nikudim. Yeah. I'll just start rolling along. You know how it is because you do the same thing. So, so then this new light, this light came from the yichud of the Av Sag Da'ak. Shenola the Yedera Ba'oras Anai Sha'ala Lamala, that's Mayim Nukvin. Yatsa Betocha Anayim, they come out from the eyes, there's a certain aspect that comes out of the eyes. The Nikdasucha Betocha Kalim. So I didn't want to say that all of the light that's up there comes out. That's why the idea from, that I think I got from Sharsha Yam, is that only a small part comes out, and the smallest part is what actually comes out. So this nai, which was original of what was inside of Ak, finis penimius of its nai, of penimius Ak, lamata meratibor, he atzba osa shnei oros, it makes itself into two lights as well. So now we're talking about this. The light went up. Gorm shizdavu Av Sag Da'ak. Umezera benoided or chodosh, and a new light came as a result of that. Lovederek chazarasach of the mata, whom mosif, or it adds more light onto it. V'yotzich of b'bakeil the chutz, and it goes out, it breaks outwards. Derech dafnos aguf, mahatiber v'lamata. So now we have light coming from up above through the eyes. There's something going on there. But at the same time, you're going to have this light coming through the body of Ak, from the Nai Lamat. So this is the Tikkun over there. It says the Tikkun Samak Zion. He says, the Shave Chad Parsa Bein Keser Ilos. So what does that mean? That they placed a diaphragm, I call it also, that's a border or a boundary, between the Keser, the Ilos, Ha-Ilos. So what is this Ilos, Ha-Ilos? It's obviously something very high, very benemis there. He called Bechinas Ma'atzel L'Zulasa. So whenever you have the concept of a Ma'atzel, giving over to someone else, Nukra Ilos Ha-Ilos, that's called the Most High. Let's say Ilos Ha-Ilos means the Most High, or the most benemis there. So the Keser they're talking about there in the Tikkunim is this Keser, the Keser that we have here. So he said, "Parsa shebenimius Ak, shenivka kaz al yedei ha'or ha'chodosh, that is broken up as a result of this new light, shenolad miyichud av Sag, which has been born for the yichud." We keep having this phrase, av Sag, which is, the whole phrase is Av Sag Da'ak, but we know we're talking about Ak here. So they spread out this parsa between Keser and this concept which is called Ilos HaIlos. Now what is the Ilos HaIlos if we're talking about Nikudim? We're talking about the Kesser of Nikudim. V'zos parsa homedet bein ha'oros ha'nakudim ha'akudim. So then he answers that. He says it's actually a parsa that exists between the akudim hanimsoim l'malam ha'tibur lebein oros ha'nikudim hanimsoim l'matam ha'tibur. So it's an interesting idea. So since the akudim are panimi or ma'ala ma'nikudim, so therefore we call the malchus the olam akudim nikroim b'shem ilos ha'ilos be'erik the kesed the nikudim. It's beyond the civil like this. It's like, we know there's an olam haba, but we know that there's a parsa between us and olam haba. Doesn't mean that we can't pray in such a way that we could actually draw down this tremendous amount of light which comes from the yichud of Avsag Da'ak, and that light, that new light that comes down, can break through the barrier of where we are in this world to the world beyond. Let's say like the Malchus of Atzilus, that we could break through that. But they can only be done in the same process, by Ma'alaman. So he said, the Hainu, he says like this, that Tesha Sephiras the Nikudim, She'omed L'matach min Kesed the Nikudim, behind the Shekol Bechina She'ma'atzilo as a Bechina She'lamatim B'mana. So he means to say, this could be between Keser to Chochmah. There's some kind of a barrier between the two of them. They're not the same. It's not like they could just blend and be the same. He nikros ilos ha'ilos, for the top one means it's kind of concept like also unreachable. The Kabbalists are trying to teach us how we can conceive of it, because actually, I don't know, I was talking to some other people. I thought this idea is that we are really the offspring of the imagination, as if it's possible to say that, of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So the Kabbalists want to see how well can you imagine this? How well can you imagine what it would be like, and what are the tools that you could get to be able to see beyond, let's say, the parsa and try to reach the Ilus HaIlus. So anyway, just a little speculation on that. So he goes number Gimel, he says, V'hine elo asara nekudim nispashtu metiber adam kadmon ad siyum raglo. We have no problem with that. He said that several times. Keseder zer anpin hamalvish to Erik anpin. So it's really similar to the way that zer anpin is malvish Erik anpin. Al the shesham malvish hazah as Erik anpin mekal tzedadav v'sivosav. So if you look in the book that we have, the sefer that we have there of Eitz Chaim, what's it called? Eitz Chaim. Yeah, you'll see different drawings that'll show you these ideas. So he says, Ella Shesham Malvish Zer Anpin is like a cylinder surrounding another cylinder. Erik Anpin, Mikol Tzedada V'Svivosav, all completely, totally around it. Now this is something interesting above Khan, but here, what we're talking about now, he says, Iker ha'arasam enu rak derek hapanim shala adam kadmon. So all of the light that we're talking about, which is being, so we're talking about the Nikudim and the Akudim, which are really on the front of Adam Kadmon. He says, Ella shemis pashetis kitsas ha'ara me'elo ha'nikudim bein bebechinas orosechem bein bechinas ha'kelim shalahem. So they have, in other words, it's not, we'll read the Tiv and we'll see how he breaks it out. It's actually a ha'ara that goes around the whole side. Malvishim zecha adam kadman mekol tzedadav, and that's the ha'ara that goes around it. Commotion is boil la'el. We explained that previously. Ba'oz and achotim peh. Avachaveika ha'rasam. That's what we said over there. He derech upon it. So maybe we're getting a little more insight in the concept of the panim and the ach, insight into panemius and chitzonius. Let's see if we can get some help here. La'achra tikun hasfiros enum omdos zu tachazu. After the tikkun, there's another story. Now let's understand what we're talking about now. We're really talking about the Nikudim. But the Nikudim are going to break. And so in order for us to talk further, we have to realize that there's going to be a tikkun that's going to put everything back together again. And that is really where this starts, where the ball starts rolling. Rolling is in the shar, which is called shar atik. Because up until this time, there's no concept of atik, and that is a very difficult shar. And a lot of people quit when they get to that shar. Yeah, because it's very abstract. It's something that for a person who can handle abstract, you can handle it. But it's not easy. So la'achar hatikun, hasfiros enim omdum zu tachazu. So this is the fact. There's going to be a tikkun. We're going to have to put this back together again. But they're not going to be in a straight line. He hasn't gotten into it that much yet. He's going to get into it more. Kafisha omdos to sheva tachtonas ba'olam and Nikudim, because the way the zat works in the olam and Nikudim is that one is on top of the other. That is the chesed, and then below that is going to be gevura, and then tiferes in a straight line. And that's the beginning of the kunim, where it's asked, I think it's the kunim, I get mixed up, but it's how long can we stand on one leg? That's the beginning. That might also be either the Kuni Zohar, or it's going to be one of the Idras. At my age, I just don't remember them 100%, but I do understand this slide. How long can we hang on one leg? He's going to probably say it. So remember, this is where we're coming to. Chesed, Din, and Rachamim. Those are the three lines. We live, as you see in other places, in what is called a balance scale. So you can understand what's going on in life, and as you get into your rabbinical work and all the things that you do, that you'll be able to see that balance is really critical to everything. But that's because the world that we live in has Din, Rachamim, and Chesed. We call parts of Malvish as parts of Shalom Aleichem. So every parts of in the new system is going to cover completely the parts of that's below it. The fichov are the parts of Shalom that's up above it. In other words, the lower will cover the upper. So he said, the fichov Abba ve'ima Malvishim al rich. Lo al kol kumasa. Remember, we had this already. El rak min hagaron the rich. In other words, from the neck. That's where it covers. The Yisrael Sabbat Tavuna, have we discussed Yisrael Sabbat Tavuna yet?
No.
Okay, well, this is one you need to know. It's called Yasos. That's what we call it. Yisrael Sabbat Tavuna, he says this is a name of the right side and the left side of the lower aspect of Abba Ve'ima. Shehem Achelak Atachton Shal Abba Ve'ima. So these, like I say, you don't have to memorize this, just have to listen to it, because he's going to introduce it later. He's going to work it all back, and he's going to give you a bird's eye view. So he said, Malvishim b'serek anpin al gabe hachelek shemechazev ad tibor. So those two partsufim cover over Erek Anpin. They surround him from the neck down to the tibor. V'zer Anpin Malvish as Erek Anpin Ma'ativer Vatsium Raglo. And then you have another parts of on the outside of them. Now, people say different things as you get into this. The question is what happened to Abba Ve'ima? Abba Ve'ima stopped at the Tibur of Erek Anpin. According to Rabbi Yaakov Hillel, though, they actually don't stop there. They go all the way down to the floor of to below the feet of Zer Anpin and Zohar V'Nok. But once they're covered over by Zohar V'Nok, or he says here Zer Anpin, therefore they're so what would you say, they're not operating in that same way. Malvish, so once again, he's going to get into it. So that's where Zer Anpin is. Kamo Kain is Sarah Kalim and Nikudim, Shehem Olam Meratzilus, Malvishim as Kumitz Ach Meratiber Ad Siyum Raglov. Let's go over that one more time. Kamo Kain, the 10 Kalim of the Nikudim, right? That's from Kesser down to Malchus of the Nikudim. They're going to cover over Shehem Olam Atzilus. I said it all wrong, but I'll try it again. Kamo Kain Asara Kalim the Nikudim. So that's why I got confused. Let's see if I am confused. Because the Nikudim are covering Shehem Olam Atzilus. Later, that's where I get mixed up. Later, they're going to become Olam Atzilus. At this time, there is no Olam Atzilus because nothing broke. The Atzilus has to be that part which is put back together again, which is at the highest level of reality that we live in. So Hashem Olam Atzilus, Malvishim as Kumas Erik Ak, Maratiba Varadsiyam Raglav and the Tibor until the end of his feet. So we'll just finish this up if you give me the time. But the way that they cover is going to be different. He says there Anpin Malvish as Erik Anpin Mikol Tzidada B'Shava. He is completely and totally encircling Erik Anpin. Masha Ein came Olan the Nikudim, which is not the case over here in Olan Nikudim. Remember, they're really only on the front. Malvish as Ikaha or Mitzad Eponim, that's really where they're located. So we see there's going to be a change. Now, what's the significance of the change that's going to happen at the Tikkun? Well, we'll see. Shuhu Hatzad Shabo Omdim Ha'anayim Achotim B'Peh, that's the place where are the eyes, the nose, and the mouth? They're in the front. Rak mitzas mina or mispashet gam b'svibas ox, but only a certain amount. Maybe that's what he meant when you look at the lights that's on the side. Atam nakachu. So the reason for this is he called ha'oros ha'yotze me'ak, all the lights that come out of Adam Kadmon. Iker ha'rosam he b'tzad upon him. So this is a fact that maybe we need to know. I'm not sure what to do with it. Rak ma'at ma'at ha'ara, only a little bit of the light mehem mispashet gam b'svibas ak. Okay, listen. Okay. Thanks for learning with me. I get a lot out of this. I hope you do too.
Oh, I do tremendously.
So you'll be saying this year, you should get a chavrusa when you can and teach them this stuff. There's nothing better than repeating it. And the whole thing is really derech, to me, mayim nukvin. So what we're doing by doing this is we're getting to the penimius of all of these things and bringing this to the avsag da'ak, believe it or not. So we have to really try to get our imaginations going that way. So my son, my son Yoel.
Sure.
So he has the two babies. One of them is coming home, Mitzvah Hashem, maybe today or tomorrow. So they're getting close to, and they want to make a bris right away. We probably miss it, the bris, because I'm in the land Florida right now. I've been doing a lot of traveling. I like traveling, to be honest with you. Okay, well, you're a Sagittarius. You should like traveling too. I'm a Sagittarius moon. Let's see, you're
I like traveling, but it's not easy.
Yeah, with 3 kids.
My family and everything.
Right. And no, you have your responsibilities, of course. Yeah, we went on road trips with the kids and when we were younger, but I do like traveling. Even before that, my wife and I went to Afghanistan.
Really?
Iran, Turkey, Iran, Israel, Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan.
Wow.
We did a lot of trips. That was a tremendous trip. Okay.
I don't think a lot of people can say they've been to those places.
Well, not now, but that was like the time of the Shah. And they were just, they had a sort of like a communist thing going on in Afghanistan. But, Afghanistan is really, really a bad place. What you get out of going to Afghanistan is imagine what the world was like, say, 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, because it hadn't changed much, except maybe a little more perverted. Anyway, thanks for learning with me. I really loved it. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.